Part 1. Introduction. Hello, my name is Amy, and today I will be reading a few extracts from A World of Sin. The Game Begins, which is a novel series created by Lester Williams, Jr., also known as L.R. the Writer, and is written in the hybrid multi-perspective writing style, or hybrid style for short. For those of you who don't know, hybrid style is an original avant-garde writing style created by L.R. the Writer. The purpose of this style is to create stories that will appeal to visual learners. If you wish to learn more about the hybrid style, the novels written in the style, and the creator, you can watch either the complete or essay versions of the hybrid analysis videos. Links to the videos, a plot summary for A World of Sin, The Game Begins, and more information are in the description down below. Part 2. The Hybrid Extract Types. Before I read the extracts, one thing to note is in the hybrid style, there are two types of extracts. The first is a primary extract, which is any extract that is the beginning of a new perspective. The second is a secondary extract, which is any extract that comes from a random point in a story that doesn't start a new perspective. Due to this, an author will write a secondary extract perspective, which is also called Category 3, Extract Facts. A secondary extract perspective is broken up into 4 sections from A to D. Section A is for a character's name and possibly a title to the left or right side of their name. Section B is the franchise title. Section C is the series title. And finally, Section D is for the date an extract takes place on. Part 3. The Novel Series. Primary Extract. Example 1. Case 1. The Entrance to the Game of God. June 17th, 2030. Detective Hope Charm. Dream, the Underworld. Time, unknown. I find myself in a business suit and skirt walking through a gray and rocky desert that is cold and colorless. All I can do is walk around this undead area which contains mountains of bones. Up ahead, I do see Hope in the form of a little girl in a sundress. "Hey," I spoke. "Where did you come from?" The child just laughed and ran off, leaving me without any answers. "Wait," I requested. "Where are you going?" I chase the child across the field of mountains made up of bones. No matter how hard I try, I can't keep up with her. I even fall down one of the mountains. Sigh. "Why is this happening to me?" I yelled. "I shouldn't be here. I don't deserve this." The smiling child gave me a sinister smirk from 12 feet away. They now had taken on a demon's eyes and the devil's smile. Before I could get to my feet to confront her, a gateway was summoned right behind her. When the gates opened, it revealed a bright yellow light, which showed an image of a woman and man.
"Hope," the man greeted. "Time to come home now. You don't belong here."
Just hearing the man's voice triggered an old memory of me. "Dad?" I begged. "Is that you? I'm coming." The small child ran into the gateway, and all I could think to do was run for it. However, despite it being so close, I ended up having chains appear on my wrist. Behind me, I saw the Grim Reaper himself try to drag me away from the gateway. "What are you doing?" I yelled. "Let me go! I need to get back to them!" I attempted to drag my way to the gateway, however, once the smiling child entered, giving me one last slick smile, the gateway began to move further and further away from my sight. Frustrated by the fear of being trapped in this gray realm, I summoned the strength to break my chains and made my move to the gateway to freedom. But no matter how fast I ran, I couldn't catch up to it. "No, wait," I begged. "Mom, Dad, please don't leave me here." The Grim Reaper flew after me, trying to trap me once more with their chains. The world around me started to be consumed by darkness, leaving the gateway to freedom as the only source of light. I was so desperate to leave, I accidentally tripped, allowing the Grim Reaper to wrap their chain around my ankles. The Grim Reaper dragged me away, as well as the gateway flew away from my sight and became just a star in the distance. "No, no," I denied. "Don't leave me here, please. I'll do anything." Once the Grim Reaper dragged me back to them, the world turned completely dark as they took out their scythe ready to finish the job. Detective Hope Charm, Orlando, Florida. Eden's Garden Neighborhood, Hope's House, Hope's Bedroom, 7 a.m. Before the Grim Reaper could end me, I wake up panicking because I feared for my life. I rise from my bed and I immediately head to my bathroom where I wash and check the condition of my face, which included my blonde hair, my red eyes, as well as my devil horns that were on my head, which I hide from the world with my hair. Deep breathing. Just a dream, I told myself. Just a dream. It has no influence on your life. Now then, let's get to work and remember who you are. Like my several other nightmares, I always have to list off who I am and what I am. I am Hope Constance Charm. I spoke. I was born female. I'm 34 years old. Date of birth unknown. Parents' names unknown. Place of origin unknown. I have no children. I am not married. I am a private detective, which I've been for 8 years. I graduated from Stanford University. Number of cases I have investigated 62. Number of cases solved 60. Number of people found guilty due to crimes as a result of me is 92. And my nickname is the Reaper of No Return. With my list completed, I finally could calm down from the foul dream I've had. Deep breath. There we go, that's better, I claimed. Now we can get down to business. With my marbles strapped and secured, I could now get on with my life, brushing my teeth, taking a shower, and getting dressed. My outfit for today is a gray suit and skirt with black high heel shoes. I also put on ruby earrings as well as red lipstick and nail polish. After coming out of my room, I was greeted by my female pet Bernese mountain dog named Infinity, who was patrolling my bedroom door. Infinity, despite looking playful, was quite serious and always putting protecting the house and me first. Morning, Infinity. I greeted and pat her on the head. Thanks for guarding my door again. It's nice to know I can depend on you, and as well as my state-of-the-art alarm system. Looking up at my ceiling, I was able to see there are several cameras recording everything that happened in and around my property. With just my phone, I was able to monitor everything that was happening in and around my house at all times. Well then, I continued, let's get this day started. Me and Infinity walked downstairs to the kitchen. During our walk, we went past a trophy case which held a few awards me and Infinity won competing in dog shows. Although none of the awards had first place on it, I was still proud of what me and Infinity accomplished together. After taking a moment to acknowledge our collection of awards, I walked into the kitchen. Once I gave Infinity her food, I got to work making my breakfast. Today I was making myself a vegetable omelet, as well as a stack of pancakes with syrup and whipped cream. Like all my meals, I always had to have something sweet. For reasons I never understood, I have constant cravings for sugar. As I made breakfast, I listened to the Good Morning America show with Joanne White on my smartphone. Fact: Joanne White. She appears in multiple novel series written by Lester Williams Jr. and often takes the role of a reporter. Smartphone. Good morning, citizens of the U.S., Joanne greeted. This is Joanne White, keeping you all up to date on the world of crime. It seems no matter how hard we try, evil can't be erased from the earth, but that hasn't stopped law enforcers from fighting against the demons of this world. For those of you who don't know, over the past few decades, there have been a massive increase in crime rates, as well as unexplained activities across the U.S. As Joanne White talks, I throw everything I cut up into the pan along with the eggs, in order, Joanne continued. To combat the rising crime rates, the Dynasty Towers were created by Kaiser Industries, which are special buildings designed so all types of law enforcers could come together to help combat the growing crime rates, such as police officers, lawyers, private detectives, soldiers, Marines, as well as agents in the CIA and FBI. Not like I already didn't know that by heart, but it was always nice hearing about the strength of the towers. These towers, Joanne added, can be found in several U.S. states including California, Texas, New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, Illinois, Ohio, Georgia, and Michigan. One of these towers, known as Titan, is located right here in Orlando, Florida. To this day, people like U.S. President Jack Wendy still believe in supporting these towers to ensure the safety of everyone in the country. I would have continued the report, but it did not interest me, so I shut off my smartphone. After turning off the smartphone, I move on to my breakfast, which is complete, and along with my omelet, I also pour myself a single cup of vanilla ice cream with chocolate syrup. Sigh. Now this is my kind of breakfast, I told myself. Something savory to ignite my sense and something sweet to remind myself I'm alive. After finishing my breakfast, I could begin to head off to work. Now that I have left my personal haven, I stumble upon a public haven which is Eden's Garden neighborhood, a modern suburban living area which contains everything needed to raise a family. With 100s of houses, a giant park, a mini golf course, a pool open to the residents, plus a personal hospital, and several other buildings, it truly is a realm that barely anyone has a reason to ever leave, which is why I adored it so much. Just as I left my room, I could see the neighborhood was busy with people doing their morning run, riding their bikes, driving, and walking their dogs. Sigh. Now this is paradise, I praised. Nothing but purity as far as the eye can see. After walking outside, the first thing I noticed was a sold sign on the house that was on the left of my house. Instantly, my mind started to race with possibilities. The day finally came, I admitted. The house left of me has finally been sold. Deep breath. Guess I should start praying that my new neighbors won't make too much noise. It could take a while for me to know what my neighbors are like. I'll speculate on that later. Putting the potential of my new neighbors to the side, I walked to my pure black SUV, which has special designed windows that were one-way windows. Thanks to these windows, nobody could see inside my car. My SUV also had multiple types of security besides my key, such as a password. Just as I unlocked my car, I noticed a soccer ball being launched across my yard, ready to hit me in the back of my head. Thankfully, due to my quick reflexes, I managed to block the attack with a single palm. The origin of the attack came from my next-door neighbors, the Parsley family, which consisted of 10-year-old Kimberly, 8-year-old Nigel, Tyson, who was only a few months old, and 30-year-old John, the father. Once John realizes what nearly happened, he rushed over into my yard.
Oh my God. Hope, are you okay?
John feared. I'm sorry about the soccer ball. Kimberly has a big soccer game in the neighborhood she's training for. Despite John's good qualities, he often lacks confidence and was quite nervous, always looking like he would break down with a gust of wind. It's fine, I commented. It did not damage me or anything. Kimberly, you really put a lot of force into that kick, but you really need to think more about where you want to kick it. Just having power isn't going to help you win the game. Chuckling. Thanks, Miss Charm, Kimberly complimented. Everyone on my team always just says kick the ball harder, so that's just what I always think. I presented Kimberly her soccer ball. Sigh. Sounds like something a group of children would say, I added. You all still have a lot to learn. Okay, Kimberly, Nigel, go finish load your stuff in the car, John ordered. Kimberly and Nigel, why? Yes, Dad. Two of the family members vanished from my sight, leaving me with the father and the baby who was strapped to his chest. Good kids, I complimented. You and Mia really have done a good job with them.
Thanks, Hope,
John responded. John's wife, Mia, was a large and tall woman that towered over her husband. Besides being tall, Mia was known for her lifeless personality and her muscular appearance, which came as a result of her being a bodybuilder. Since the day I met Mia, I found someone to admire for her ability to juggle a career, motherhood, and maintaining her physical fitness. Thinking about Mia reminded me about something that was bothering me about her. Speaking of Mia, I added, how much longer until she comes back from her business trip? It's been almost 2 weeks since I last seen her. Since we usually leave work around the same time, I'm used to seeing her when I'm going to work. My comment caused John to freeze up for a moment as if a ghost had snuck up behind his shadow. John? I questioned. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, John assured. I was thinking about the list of things Mia told me to do while she was away. As for when Mia will come back, I really can't answer that. That woman does love her job as much as she loves bodybuilding. Why wouldn't she love her work, after all? She works for the Siamese Corporation, which helps build hospitals and fund medical research. You know, Hope, I just came off of talking with her on the phone about having another child. That sounds like a gamble not even I would want to bet on. A 4th child? I interrogated. John, don't you think you're busy enough with just 3? That's a huge risk you're taking coming from a person who doesn't even believe in luck. Mia just gave birth 3 months ago. Well, I always wanted a big family, John argued. I think it's worth the risk. Speaking of risk, Hope, you should try having a child. Due to your situation, I figure it just makes sense for you to have a blood relative. Of course, I couldn't leave my house without being reminded of my unfortunate past, which made me increase the grip on my suitcase. Thanks for the advice, John, I responded. But I've never been into the idea of being handicapped for 9 months, then imprisoned in motherhood for the rest of my life. I always had a stern way of talking, and sometimes I do come off a bit unsettling to my neighbors. Gee, Hope, John teased. You sure have a way with words. In a way, you're not wrong. Being pregnant is kind of like a handicap, and motherhood is forever. But I'm sure you'll change your mind eventually. My wife thought the same thing until she accidentally got pregnant with Kimberly, and now she thinks it's the most satisfying job in the world. Sigh. Well, I can't speak for everyone, I accepted. And who knows, maybe someday I'll change my mind, but I doubt it will be anytime soon. Bye, John. Tell Kimberly I wish her good luck on her soccer game. Just as I was about to leave, Nigel ran back to my car with a notebook in his hands. Miss Charm, Nigel asked, and presented me with his notebook. I wanted to know if I could give this to you. What is it? I wondered as I grabbed hold of the notebook. This week, Nigel commented. In my class, we were given the assignment to write about someone who we consider a hero. I chose to write about you since you've helped keep our city safe. I wanted you to read what I have so far about you in my notebook, if you don't mind. Even with a heart of stone, I still found myself having a soft center that allowed me to smile. Sure, Nigel, I agreed. I don't mind. We'll see you later. To ensure Nigel's notebook was safely secured, I put it in my briefcase just as I get in my car, and then I begin my drive to the gate of this fortress known as Eden's Garden. Before I could break out of this paradise, I first had to deal with my neighbor, Jessica Turner, who was riding her bicycle on the sidewalk with the speed of a lion and was able to line up perfectly with my car. Riding bicycle. Morning, Hope, Jessica greeted. As much as I wish I could have a calm drive out of the neighborhood, I knew I couldn't just ignore her. Sigh. Jessica, what do you want? I interrogated. You know how I like to be 10 minutes early for work. I know, Jessica teased. I was just hoping to get your attention while I had some free time to go for my morning ride. As the president of the neighborhood, you know my plate is often pretty heavy, which is why I was thinking I think I already knew where this was going. Jessica, I warned. I've already told you this before. I'm far too busy at work to devote my time to the neighborhood council. Hope you got it all wrong, Jessica argued. I know you're too busy to join the council. That's not what this is about. I'm actually planning a day trip to a resort and spa for some of the parents of the neighborhood, and I was wondering if you would be interested in joining in. Well, I certainly did not see this outcome coming out of nowhere. Jessica, thanks for the offer, I claimed. But I'll have to pass, and besides, I'm not even a parent. Well, everyone knows that, Jessica acknowledged. However, out of all the people in the neighborhood, you're currently one of the only ones, living alone, that doesn't have a lot of company come over. Not that there is anything wrong with that. Jessica, I warned, get to the point. Hope I know you're not a mother, Jessica informed. But you do sometimes feel like the neighborhood's mother, or more like a guardian angel. Anytime a crime happens in the neighborhood, you're the first person people run to. You were able to solve crimes in the neighborhood before the police even could get here to do their investigation. It just makes sense to invite you in on the fun. Jessica did make a logical argument. Plus, Jessica teased, it gives me a chance to actually say thank you. Remember a year ago when me and my husband Mike, for unknown reasons, couldn't conceive a child? It was really depressing until you suggested me and Mike become foster parents. At first we were hesitant, but then you agreed to go through the process with us to prove there was nothing to be ashamed about. To think it's already been an entire year since all that took place. Hope, Jessica added. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have been able to foster and adopt Ashley and Sophia. Well, in a way, I brought this upon myself. You're welcome, Jessica, I complimented. I was happy to help, and I guess I did hit 2 birds with 1 stone. You and Mike found happiness, and a pair of twins found themselves loving parents. So, everyone wins. That is what I thought anyway. Hope I wouldn't say everyone won, Jessica argued. You took the same foster classes as me and Mike did, but you never did anything with them. Not like I ever planned to do anything with it. Jessica, I only took those classes to support you and Mike, I informed. I don't know if I feel comfortable fostering a child as a single woman. I don't know if I could handle that. Hope, of course you can, Jessica assured. Don't they call you the Reaper of No Return at work? If you can hunt down and help lock up criminals, how hard can it be to foster one child? It's not like you'll be raising the devil. Anyway, hope I won't waste any more of your time. Just think about my... Secondary extract. Example 1. Detective Hope Charm. The entrance to the Game of God, June 17th, 2030. After that brief ride down memory lane, I went into the elevator and walked to the bottom floor. Once I got to the bottom floor, I was ready to head for the front door. However, before I could go outside, I ended up bumping into Moses, who was walking while checking something on his tablet. "Hope," Moses commented. "Been a couple hours. How are you?" "Same as ever," I informed. I took notice Moses had now donned a lab coat under his suit. "Looks like you found where you belong," I admitted.
"Well," Moses replied, "after you and everyone else abandoned me, the only option I had was to head over to my section. Not everyone likes me, but so far I haven't made any enemies. It is pretty intense being here. A lot of people treat this place as one big contest to see who the best is. I rather see this tower as a place to make friends like you."
"We're not friends," I denied. "I don't have friends at work." That bullet seems to have affected Moses.
"Really?" Moses interrogated. "Don't you get lonely not having friends you can trust?"
"Moses," I started off, "let me give you some advice. For your safety, you shouldn't make friends here. This place is so big there is bound to be a rat running around. Just stick to your job." Just as I was about to leave, walking past Moses, he decided to switch his personality.
"That's an interesting observation," Moses acknowledged. "But I doubt I would follow it. Getting to know my coworkers would give me too much of an advantage while I'm here.
Hope, from my point of view, you take a bigger risk by keeping yourself distant from your coworkers." "Well, it's a risk I take," I informed, "and one I'm comfortable with. That's how I've usually acted my entire life." "Gee, I wonder why you're like that," Moses claimed. "You must be pretty motivated to work here with that kind of risk. You want to know what motivates me to work in a place like this?" "I really don't care," I confessed. "Well, I'm telling you anyway." Moses enforced and pointed to the ceiling. "My motivation for being here is at the top of this tower. I'm sure you're well aware at the top of Titan's Tower is a vault known as the Endless Void. Within that vault, it holds documents for cases there are said to be either unsolvable or too outrageous to be seen by the public's eyes. Well, that is basic knowledge that anyone would know about the tower. Some people say." Moses continued, "In that vault, there are cases that would prove the existence of God. I've always been fascinated by the supernatural ever since my father convinced me that there are creatures beyond human understanding watching us from afar and living among us. I truly believe someday I will step inside the endless void and prove there are otherworldly beings out there. I fear Moses has lost some of his sanity, or never really had it in the first place. Being a crime scene investigator," Moses added. "It allows me to dig deep into what caused a crime, and I'm hoping my skills will someday grant me access to the vault. Only a handful of people that work in Titan's Tower are allowed to tackle a case from the endless void." I barely gave Moses anything more than a glance out of my right eye. Sigh. "You are so delusional," I pitied. "Your motivation is to discover the supernatural. Sorry, Moses, you're wasting your time. You can believe whatever story about monsters, demons, or cryptids you want. But if you ask me, the only other being besides the ones on Earth is God themselves, nothing more and nothing less. If I was you, I might as well torch those dreams now." I said everything I wanted and was ready to leave once more.
"Ironic you would say that,"
Moses admitted. "A part of me thought you would understand my desire to understand the supernatural. After all, you had a strong motivation to discover your lost past." That caught me off guard like a sniper's bullet hitting me from the heavens. "What did you say?" I interrogated.
"You mean about your past?"
Moses wondered. "Oh yeah, I hadn't mentioned this to you before, but I read the background about some of the many people that have worked in this tower, including you. I must say your backstory is quite fascinating. You were found abandoned and completely naked, on the side of the road by police officers in Austin, Texas, when you were about 8 years old. Even though it was my own backstory, Moses felt the need to explain it to me just to prove he did his research. As if that wasn't odd enough. Moses continued. When you were first located, it was discovered you were of British origin, as well as you had sharp nails and teeth, overgrown red hair, a small tail that was later surgically removed, and 2 devil-like horns on your head. You were quiet, the unique person when you were discovered Hope. I can only imagine how desperate detectives were to wake you up to get some answers which you never could give. Although I could have just walked away at any moment, I wanted to see how far Moses would go to push my buttons. When you woke up, Moses added, it was also discovered you could only speak Japanese, didn't understand basic technology. You had an uncontrollable craving for sugar that you still struggle with to this day, and you had no memory of where you came from. The state of Texas tried everything to find out your origin. The mystery of your past became so widespread that most of the country heard about you. Hearing Moses speak forced me to flash back to my childhood, which left me wondering where I came from. Of course, Moses added. After 8 months of searching for evidence your case was deemed unsolvable, your story vanished from the media. You were abandoned at a rehabilitation center for unique children until you turned 18, and then you went off to university to obtain your master's degree in criminal investigation. Now that Moses reminded me of my past, all I could think to do was process my emotions and give a proper response. At one point, Moses claimed, you decided to become a private detective to try and solve your own case, but eventually decided to give up and focus on punishing criminals. I must admit, Hope, your story truly makes me think that supernatural forces brought you into this world. Perhaps aliens brought you to our planet. You're someone's abandoned science experiment, a genetic mutation that ran away, or one of the devil's offspring that was kicked out of hell. The possibilities just seem endless with you. Moses's words finally crawled under my skin to the point I could no longer tolerate them. Moses, I warned, if you value your dignity, you'll stay away from me for the rest of the day. I stopped caring about discovering my past a long time ago. What matters to me is the person I am today, not the freak I was when I was discovered. To cool down from that heated conversation, I went into my car and drove off to find a meal. I quickly found a fast food burger restaurant, went through the drive-thru, and just paid for an extra-large meal which I devoured in the parking lot, along with a few Carmichael candy bars that were in my bag. Moaning. Moses just had to bring up my past, I barked. It's been a while since I met someone who dared talk about my past to my face in such detail. Every day I have to live with the fact that I don't know where I came from and nobody can solve my case. Even though I told him I don't care about the past, the truth is I still do. I want to know where I came from before I die, but at the same time I've wasted so much time already trying to find out who I am. In a matter of seconds, I looked back at my past so I can examine the amount of time and money I have sacrificed just to get answers. I even took out Nigel's notebook on me and quickly scanned it to see if I truly deserved to be labeled as someone's hero. I really thought, I commented. If I became a private detective, I would gain the skills I needed to solve my own case in order for me to die happy and discover how I became a freak of nature, but to this day, the case of my origins has remained unsolved. At this point, I feel only God could solve my case. I paused for a moment as I took time to watch a mom and dad hold hands with their 6-year-old daughter as they all walked out of the restaurant together. Deep breath. It's amazing, I confessed. No matter what I accomplish in life, like being called a hero, I still don't feel like I'm worthy to have a normal family. Until my case is solved and I know what my past life was like, I feel like I'll never be able to move on and try and start a family. Perhaps it's for the best. I don't even know if I'm good enough to be a wife or mother to anyone. Maybe I would have better luck raising the devil than trying to raise a normal child. I don't think a lot of people would object to that since I already have devil-like horns. Before I got lost in my thoughts, I was able to drag myself out of the hole I was digging for myself. Sigh. Okay, seriously, I protested. I need to calm down and get back to work. Regardless of what is happening with my case, I can't let that distract me from the case I've been assigned to now. Now that I had my moment, I put Nigel's notebook away and drove off back to Titan Tower. Driving. Regardless, I added, of how I view my lost past, I can't let it control me. If I focus too much time thinking about my past, I'll neglect my work, which could cost me my reputation and career. I wasted so many years saving money to help solve my case, which I could have been using to help punish criminals who deserve it. I might have not been asked to be called the Reaper of No Return, but it's a title I have accepted. Up ahead, I noticed that a child dashed out of an alley and ran into the roads. This action caused the car in front of them to have to make an emergency turn, resulting in them grazing the child and knocking them down. The car ended up hitting a light pole. From what I saw, the driver fell unconscious. Gasp! Oh no! I yelled. Just seeing these actions gave me no option to stop my car next to the child who was wearing a blue hoodie and on his knees. I got out of my car and approached the child. Hey kid, are you okay? I feared. The child, who I now could confirm was a boy that was about 10 years old, decided to slap my hand off of their back. Get away from me! The boy roared. I need to get out of here. The boy attempted to run for his life, however he ended up collapsing. On further inspection, I noticed he had a few burn marks on his legs as well. He had some bruises from the car hitting him. Oh, this is bad, I feared. Looks like there are no parents around. I need to take you to the hospital. I can't wait for the police or the hospital car to come. I snapped a picture of the license plate of the car that hit the child, and then I quickly loaded them into my car, and we drove off. Thankfully, Rosewood Hospital was close by. Once I parked my car, I put the child on my back and ran inside to the front desk. Sir, I yelled, I need your help. I found this boy. He fell unconscious after being hit by a car, after hearing that the man at the desk called for a team who brought a table on wheels. They took the child away from me and carried him off to be cared for. I was now stuck awaiting for some results in the waiting room. Sigh. How did this happen? I feared. A kid just appears out of nowhere and gets hit by a car without anyone watching them. Who would allow this? My question had to wait as a doctor approached me. Excuse me, miss, the doctor asked. Our You Hope charm, the lady that brought in a 10-year-old boy who was struck by a car today. That's me, I confirmed. I'm Dr. Wayne Miller, Dr. Miller informed. I'm looking after them. Is he okay? I questioned. And so my heartbeat had a rapid increase. He needed a few bandages, Dr. Miller informed. They lost some blood, but nothing big, and they had several burn marks over their legs. But the good news is they'll be okay. No major injuries, they just need to rest. So, my heart could now calm down. Sigh. That's a relief, I admitted. So, what's going to happen next? I didn't see any parents with them? Well, we weren't able to identify who this boy is, Dr. Miller informed. The only thing we can do now is try and get him to talk. Miss Charm, since you saved him, he might listen to you. He just woke up. Do you feel like trying to talk to him? Considering what has just happened, I don't know how this will play out, but I had to try. Okay, let's try. I accepted. The two of us walked through the halls to get to the child's room. I can't imagine what this child has been through to end like this, I admitted. I hope I can do something for him. We have to have hope, Dr. Miller enforced. As we stepped into the room, we saw how two nurses were struggling to keep the boy under control. He ripped himself from his bed and attempted to flee. Let me go, the boy barked. The boy went so far as to try and break one of the nurses' arms. Me and Dr. Miller had to step in and hold the boy down. Dr. Miller took out a needle and injected it into the boy's left shoulder. The boy, using his abnormal strength, was capable of breaking free of our grip. Once he was free, he made his way out of the room and fled into the halls. Hey, where are you going? I yelled. The hell out of here, the boy roared. The boy didn't get far as he lost his speed and fell on the floor, unable to get back up. He made his attempt, but he lost his energy almost in an instant. What just happened? I wondered. Just a temporary paralyzing chemical, Dr. Miller informed. I always carry it around in case I have an unstable patient. Miss Charm, I'm sorry you had to see this. Please, if you won't mind staying a bit, I'm sure we'll get him under control. Seeing a child in pain trying desperately to crawl for freedom but had to be stopped by the nurses was too sad for me to try and pull away. "I don't mind staying," I informed. For the next several hours, I was trapped waiting for the boy I saved to calm down, sleep, and wake up once more. This time, I was given the chance to stay in the room as he slept. Sigh. "What am I going to do with you?" I questioned. That question had to be put on hold as I got a call from Chance, moaning. What am I going to do with him? I wondered. I can't believe I kept this number. Phone. What is it, Chance? Phone.
"Hope, where have you been?" Chance barked. "It's already 7:30. You've been gone for almost 5 hours. You do realize how important the case we're working on is."
"There goes Chance for you. The dictator as usual." Phone. "It's a long story," I argued. "This kid ran into the streets, got hit by a car, and now I'm stuck with him in Rosewood Hospital. Sorry I can't leave yet. I need to know who this kid is and where he is from. Just leaving him here isn't right." Chance had to at least understand that. Phone. Sigh. "Hope you always keep things interesting," Chance admitted. "Okay, fine, stay there for today. For all I know, you just discovered a brand new case. But I need you back at the tower as soon as possible so we can continue on our current case." I had to cut this conversation short as the boy had finally woken up once more. Phone. "Okay, Chance, I'll see you in the morning," I claimed.
"Sorry, I have to get going. They're waking up."
End of phone call. Once the boy opened their eyes, it was time to get this meeting over with. "Hi there," I greeted. Sigh. "Who are you?" the boy wondered. "Where am I?" Unlike last time, this time the boy was strapped down to his bed, unable to break free. "Why can't I get out of bed?" the boy barked. "Look, you need to calm down," I ordered. "Let's start over. I'm Hope Charm. I was driving when I saw you run into the road and get hit by a car. I took you to Rosewood Hospital, which is where we are now. Listen, for your sake, I need you to tell me who you are, if you can, and where you came from." I really was reaching out to them, and it was now time to see what my results would be. The boy had no emotion within him besides anger. He instantly got defensive and decided to not even make direct eye contact with me. "Look, thanks for the save," the boy claimed. "But trust me, for your sake, I need to leave this place now." "Sorry, I can't do that," I denied. "You're a child without an adult figure to support you right now, and you're not going to leave this building until someone takes responsibility for you." We were now in a stalemate with no end in sight. Sigh. "Of course you would say that," the boy mocked. "If you knew how dangerous being around me was, you would abandon me without a second thought." "I wouldn't do that to a child," I assured. "I don't care who you are. You're still an underage person that needs guidance. When you got hit by a car, my first instinct was to get you help. You may not believe it, but I'm not going anywhere until I find out where you belong." The boy found my words humorous and started to laugh. "What's so funny?" I interrogated. Laughing. "Oh, nothing," the boy claimed. "Mortals are so funny when they try and act tough. You have no idea, Blondie, what you're getting yourself into, and you are an idiot if you think you can manage someone like me. Now you can either stop acting like a bee and let me go now, or I'll get someone else to do it for me." As a result of this boy's behavior, I slapped them across their left cheek. "Don't ever talk to an adult like that again," I warned. "I don't know who you are, but I do know until I find who you are, you're not going anywhere." After that single attack, the boy looked to be ready for war. "Really?" the boy challenged. "I like to see you tell that to Pluto Hades." "Pluto Hades?" I questioned in confusion. What kind of person would have a name like that? Before giving me an answer, the boy gave me a wicked smile and unleashed a purple aura from his body. "Want to meet him?" the boy interrogated. A portion of the boy's purple aura shot off their body and took shape, forming a being of pure black energy. This creature was shaped like an adult man with 2 giant red eyes and no mouth. The creature was able to stretch out their left arm, grabbed me by my throat, and then hold me up and against a wall. Now that I was trapped in place, the creature ripped the straps that kept the boy in place. "Master Guilty," Pluto informed. "I have neutralized the threat." "Excellent," Guilty cheered. "Looks like you got enough strength back, Pluto, to help me get out of this mess. Blondie, allow me to introduce you to my magic servant, Pluto Hades. my most loyal and only teammate. In this very moment, reality was thrown out the window and I had no idea what was happening. "How are you doing this?" I begged. "Wouldn't you like to know?" Guilty mocked. "Sorry about this, but now that you know the truth, I can't let you live. It's nothing personal, Blondie. I'm just doing what I need to do to win the game. Pluto, finish this." Pluto tightened his grip around my throat to the point where I knew I would suffocate and die at any second.
"Sorry, madam," Pluto claimed. "I wish I could just let you walk away, but I must protect my master's secret. If I don't, we lose the game."
"For what it's worth, when the heralds judge you, I pray you become an angel." Just as Pluto was about to kill me, Guilty froze in place and started to shake with fear, as if the Grim Reaper had come for him. Gasp. "Oh no!" Guilty yelled. "He's back!" Suddenly, a large man broke through the window of the hospital building and landed directly in front of us. This man had on a black hoodie, blue jeans, and he also had several scars on his face. His presence alone got Guilty and Pluto to tremble. "Found you!" the man yelled. "You thought you could run forever, Guilty? Well, no more, just give up already and die." Guilty, despite being scared, stood his ground as he stood up in his bed. "Not gonna happen, Lawbreaker!" Guilty yelled. "I'm in this game until the very end." The man named Lawbreaker summoned a fireball within his left palm. "As stubborn as ever," Lawbreaker pitied. "What a shame." Lawbreaker was about to throw the fireball, however, Pluto threw me into the hallway and then smacked Lawbreaker's hand, causing him to throw the fireball to the ceiling. The explosion and smoke produced gave Pluto the perfect chance to snatch Guilty off the ground and run away with him into the hallway to freedom. Lawbreaker was far from finish as he busted through a wall and chased Guilty and Pluto down the hall. I was just left to wonder what kind of mad house I was in. "What the hell is going on?" I yelled. "This can't be happening. This can't be real. I have to do something." I saw a fire erupt down the hallway, and I just ran in the other direction. I pulled a fire alarm on the wall, alerting everyone to escape. As people began to flee, I met up with Dr. Miller. "Miss Charm?" Dr. Miller begged. "What's happening here?" "Trust me, you wouldn't believe me if I told you," I informed. "You have to get out of here." There was no time to argue as the fight between the three monsters started to make the ceiling collapse. "We'll have to talk later." Dr. Miller accepted. As Dr. Miller fled, he ended up dropping a needle which fell out of his coat. I picked up the needle and attempted to give it back, but the crowd got in the way. I had to put the needle away and just focus on the current situation. I was ready to leave, however, I decided to stay behind and help people out of the building. While I was doing that, I saw from across the building Guilty and Pluto running away from a beast that could summon fire and was burning the hallways. I didn't know what to say. I just couldn't bear to see a child get hurt, and I just had to bring myself to end this. "I can't stand this," I barked. I went into my bag and took out my handgun. Although I was a single person, I couldn't bear the pain of seeing all this destruction and ran up the stairs ready to end this madness. No matter what is going on, I told myself, I can't let this chaos continue. There are too many people in this hospital damaged already. I followed the chaos by looking through the windows. I noticed how Guilty was thrown out of a window. He looked like he would fall to his death. However, Pluto stretched out his left arm to save him. Pluto then came out of the building and climbed up the building until he got to the roof. Lawbreaker smashed a hole in the wall and climbed up to the roof as well. There was only one place I could go. Once I made my way to the roof, I saw how Pluto protected Guilty as Lawbreaker threw fireballs at them. "How pathetic, Guilty!" Lawbreaker barked. "You're still the same old weak demon I met when I joined the demon mob. I expected more from you. I evolved since I left the demon mob. Let's face facts, Guilty. Without the demon mod, you're nothing." "Like I'll ever listen to you," Guilty barked. "With or without the demon mod, me and Pluto will survive." "Right, Master Guilty," Pluto agreed. "We can't let things end here. If we do, that means Delightful was right about us." Pluto managed to punch Lawbreaker across his face and rip his hoodie off his head. Lawbreaker, in response to these attacks, grabbed Pluto by the head, smashed them into the ground, and lit them on fire. Pluto was burned to ashes and returned to being a part of Guilty, which caused Guilty to feel pain. As weak as ever, Lawbreaker pitied as he picked Guilty off the ground. "Trust me, I'm doing you a favor by ending you. Goodbye, Guilty 10K. Lawbreaker was about to throw a fireball directly into Guilty's face when I came out of hiding. "Stop!" I ordered and drew my gun. Lawbreaker stared at me, however there was no fear within his eyes. "Put him down," I warned. "Sorry," Lawbreaker mocked, "but you're not a threat, mortal. You should leave while you can." With that insult stabbing me in the heart, I took aim and shot Lawbreaker 2 times through the head. I thought the battle would be over as Lawbreaker started to fall backwards. However, Lawbreaker didn't die as his purple aura returned and repaired the wounds in his head. Shaking. "What are you?" I begged. "You really want to know?" Lawbreaker challenged. "I'm just a demon named Lawbreaker 400 that is living in a world of sin, and who is trying to become the next overlord." Note: a world of sin. A term that references the fact that all living creatures are imperfect sinners, which means the world they share is consumed by sin. Lawbreaker unleashes a fireball right at me. I had no option but to try and flee. I did try and shoot him again, but no matter how many bullets I put in him, they always healed. I had to hide behind a vent just to stay alive. Just as I took my rest, I noticed a needle fall out of my pocket. The same needle I picked up from Dr. Miller, which gave me an idea. "Wait a second," I told myself. "This is the paralyzing chemical." "No use running," Lawbreaker warned. "You'll die here anyway." I noticed that Guilty found the strength to break out of Lawbreaker's grip. He manages to backflip a couple feet away to gain some distance. "Still not ready to give up," Lawbreaker mocked. "You always said fight to the bitter end." Lawbreaker attempted to finish Guilty off with a fire fist, however Guilty kept on dodging the attacks. That gave me my chance, and I decided to sneak up on Lawbreaker and inject the needle into his back. Following this, Lawbreaker ripped me off him and threw me into a vent. "Every time you have a chance to run," Lawbreaker spoke, "you always choose to ignore it." Just as Lawbreaker was about to finish me, he fell on his knees, unable to get back up once more. "What's happening to me?" Lawbreaker yelled. "Just a little paralyzing chemical," I informed. "Should slow you down for a while." Lawbreaker didn't accept his fate and unleashed fire from his hands as he attempted to get back up. "No!" Lawbreaker yelled. "I can't lose to a mortal." Before Lawbreaker could strike, Guilty summoned Pluto once more, who reshaped their hand into a sword, stretched it out, and used it to slice off Lawbreaker's head. So, it seems the fight was over. Deep breathing. "We did it!" I cheered. "You really are an idiot," Guilty barked. "The fight isn't over yet." Lawbreaker's body unleashed a purple aura, but this time the aura was stripped off his body and took form. The aura transformed into some kind of 10 feet tall black hybrid dragon with a snake tail and goat horns. "What is that thing?" I feared. "It's his true form," Guilty informed. "My host body may be gone," Lawbreaker barked. "But I'll live on and win the game of God!" The beast went forward, ripping off a piece of the roof and throwing it at us. Pluto acted as a wall, smashing the concrete to protect us. "Madam," Pluto spoke, "if you wish to help me and my master survive, grab your gun and shoot him. Me and Master Guilty will distract him. Master time to use our last resort." "Don't have to tell me twice," Guilty assured. Pluto latched onto Guilty's body and then was absorbed into him. This resulted in Guilty's skin turning pure black and rapidly growing into a muscular adult man with glowing red eyes. After transforming, Guilty ran right at Lawbreaker in order to distract him. With no time to waste, I ran across the roof to get my handgun. Lawbreaker threw a fireball at me, however Guilty blocked the attack. "Hurry up," Guilty warned. Just as I picked up my gun, I saw how Lawbreaker used their tail to smack Guilty away to the edge of the roof. Before Lawbreaker delivered the finishing blow, I fired a bullet. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to maintain my balance and ended up shooting Lawbreaker's right wing. "You still wish to fight?" Lawbreaker barked. "Is it to protect him? Do you have any idea who he is?" "I don't know," I admitted. "And I don't care. All I know is I want to live and can't bear to see a child suffer." Lawbreaker laughed and mocked me for my words. Laughing. "A child!" Lawbreaker yelled. Oh, my dear fool, trust me. Guilty is no child. He's just a master at acting like one. Lawbreaker got my mind distracted, which gave him the chance to throw Guilty right at me. He then attempted to burn both of us with a flamethrower from his mouth. However, Pluto unfused with Guilty and transformed his hands into a shield to protect us. Go and shoot now, Guilty ordered. I took my chance, ran into position, and shot my target. Just as I shot Lawbreaker in the chest, he whipped me with his tail, knocking me off the roof. I fell over 40 stories, and I ended up smashing onto the ground floors at the hospital's entrance. On impact, multiple of my bones were shattered, and I fell unconscious, which I feared would be for the last time. The next thing I realized is that I was in a white realm of nothing, and in front of me was a hybrid female-human zebra wearing a blue suit. There was also a female knight with white wings and a 9-feet-tall male demon that looked like a giant gorilla with a turtle shell, a lizard's tail, and a crocodile's head. What the hell? I feared. Where am I? In the climax of your life, the zebra woman warned. Hope Charm, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Libra 5K. I'm a god of reasoning. I will be your defense lawyer. The angel to my left is Loyalty 500, and to my right is the demon named Madness 2K. They'll be the guards responsible for keeping you and me in check. Defense lawyer? I questioned. Glad we got that out of the way. Loyalty claimed. Loyalty, with just a finger snap, was able to create handcuffs on my wrist, as well as a chain that was linked to my handcuffs. Loyalty held on to the other side of the chain to ensure I would always stay near her. Loyalty even went as far as to tug on the chain to force me to kiss the ground. Hope, Madness requested. Please don't struggle, you'll only make things worse. Now let's get going. A door suddenly appeared in front of the group, which all of us walked through. Once we walked through the door, we found ourselves in a new section of the White Void, which had a giant stone platform for us to walk on, which was 20 feet above the ground. Around the platform, there were giant floating chairs, and sitting in them were 50-feet-tall beasts. In total, there were 6 monstrous bodies. From left to right, there was an old woman in a pastor's robe. Next, there was a man with gray skin. Then there was a woman who appeared to be some kind of plant. Following that, there were Siamese twin dragons with a blue and red head. Next was a woman made completely of gold and wearing a silver armor. Finally, there was a woman made completely of stone and looked like a queen. The Siamese twin dragons also had a judge's desk, while everyone else had chairs shaped like thrones. All I could do is shake in fear over such massive beings. I was speechless just by the sight alone.
7 heralds, Libra spoke. I bring to you your next case to be judged. Miss Hope Charm. Miss Charm, may I present you to the 7 heralds of God, the ones who shall decide your fate.
Something didn't seem right, and I needed answers. This can't be happening, I yelled. What is going on here? Where am I? The woman made entirely of plants started to giggle at my scared face. Giggling. Oh, what's wrong? The plant woman mocked. Afraid to stand in the presence of gods? Gods? I feared. That's right, the plant woman confirmed. I am the goddess of life, Gaia. The literal heart of Stone Queen. Over there is the goddess of truth, liberty. Miss Gold and Silver is trickster goddess of reality. The monster in the black robe is malicious, is the god of death. Then the old witch is the goddess of time, cosmic. And finally, the Siamese twin brothers Akuma and Tenshi are the gods of judgment. Akuma, the blue one, is the god of punishment, and Tenshi, the red one, is the god of reward. Right in front of me sat 7 monsters, and all were said to be gods. From what I saw, Gaia looked playful, Akuma was sinister, Tenshi appeared serious, Trickster seemed bored, Liberty seemed depressed, Cosmic looked indifferent to everyone and everything, and Malicious appeared to be happy and relaxed. You're all gods? I questioned. But I don't understand why I am here. Chuckling. You're here because you have died, Akuma answered. You see, every mortal who dies ends up here at our courtroom where they are to be judged by all of us in the land of nowhere. As if this story didn't already break reality, I now discover I have abandoned Earth. I'm dead, I yelled. How did I die? Yawning. Pretty brutal, Trickster commented. Want to see. Oh, Cosmic, if you wouldn't mind. With a snap of Cosmic's fingers, a portal appeared in the center of the room on the ground. That portal became a TV, which allowed us all to see me fall off the hospital building and fall to my death with my neck snapping, my bones being broken, and blood vomiting out of my mouth. With the show over, the portal vanished. Falling is one of the most entertaining ways to see mortals die, Trickster admitted. You never know how brutal it will get until they slam into the ground. I always prefer when mortals fall head first. Before I could make any comments, the conjoined twins Akuma and Tensher slammed their mallet on their desk. Enough talking, Tenshi ordered. Let us proceed with the trial. God of reasoning, Libra, begin your opening statement. Yes, my God, Libra commented. World of sin.